Yeah. So covering football and having a son, do, would you are you okay with your son playing football? Everyone talk about the head trauma and stuff like that. I mean, what do you think about all that? Like, it's just part of football, or what do you think of the new rules they put in the game?
Such a great question, Wyatt. It is probably the conflict of conscience that a lot of us have when our livelihood and our paychecks are dependent on the sport of football. Like, I recognize that
Yeah.
working for ESPN pays my mortgage, pays my car payment, pays for my kids' school tuition. But I do think that a lot of us in the space recognize that there are, some physical elements and, like you were mentioning, brain trauma associated with the sport. What I try to do is let my son guide us in that. If it seems like he wants to play football, then we will continue to support him in that. We'll make sure he's doing everything necessary to be safe, learn proper technique, have the proper equipment, just not be careless with it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's probably more difficult for parents whose kids have a real future in the sport. I don't know that my son does. We shall see, right? He's in eighth grade. Could be a ton of decisions we have to make down the road. But you're right to ask about what is the reality there. My husband played sports. My husband played football in college. There are conversations that we have about CTE and if he's concerned at all about his mental faculties. I do a show with Mark Chimura. He's a former Green Bay Packers tight end who won a Super Bowl in Green Bay. We joke around about him forgetting things, and it's a good laugh on our show. It's a good, joke on our show. But I think there are days when he is worried about what his future looks like, having played football at a high level for so long. So I don't think there's any part of us that doesn't think about it. It's kind of one of those inconvenient truths. And so you just try to do your best to navigate it and hope that you won't be one of the people affected by it long term.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
that's a great answer and response. That's coming from a mother, and you just don't, like, you see so much of, like, whatever happened with Tua this year and just all the stuff with the past players in CTE. So, yeah, it's a common
Well,
question
and
to
I did
hear
a
asked, like,
feature,
are you going to let your
Jake,
kid
I
play?
did a feature on Tyler Helinski, who died by suicide.
Yeah,
And his parents, when they did the autopsy, they found CTE on his brain. And so they sit there and wonder how much of his
Right.
passing and his challenges and struggles stemmed from traumatic brain injury and CTE. And I
Yep.
guess it was, CTE.
Right.
And then the question was, should they let his younger brother play football? And it's all he loved, it's all he knew. And so they made the decision as a family to let Brian play football, and now he's a quarterback at Northwestern. So it's just a fascinating and interesting and complicated space to exist in.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
definitely complicated.